From concept to care. Navigating the journey of cardiovascular medical devices from design to patient.
Good morning, everyone. So my topic is the cardiovascular market, where I'm in now more than 20 years, and with our company, we're supporting startup or mid-sized corporations from a patent to a commerce situation. I would like to start with the cardiovascular innovations in the last year, and I put a slide together where you can see how innovations drive mortality, which is a very unusual slide, because you see from the first angioplasty which has been done back with Dr. Krunzig, back to drug-eluting stents, and today with precision AI images, also lithotripsy, leadless pacemakers, and so on. And with these innovations, the mortality of patients is going rapidly downwards. Now, you could imagine the innovation is over. Mortality is going down and down and down. That's not the case. Nowadays, companies in the cardiovascular space developing products which have lifetime management. When you look here at TAVRs, so meaning valves which got implanted through catheters, they have a durability currently of 10 years, but now companies developing products in this space which working on a longer durability. So there's still a lot of improvement to be done on getting these devices for a lifetime experience, get them smaller, get them more precise, and there's a large opportunity for artificial intelligence and digital health. When we're looking on the last decades, and in particular on how companies got acquired in these years, then you see there is always something between 1 or 2 big acquisitions per year, except right after COVID. So right after COVID, we saw that in particular the larger corporations invested a lot into innovation, and that's just a portion out of exits, but it's highlighting that 2021 we had a very good year in this space, but you can also see the last years were slowing down a little bit, and that's what we're currently seeing in the cardiovascular world, is that we have a backlog. Everyone is waiting. The corporates are waiting to do the right moves, and when you look these companies, it's just Johnson & Johnson, so you'll not see here Medtronic, Boston Scientific, Edwards Lifesciences, or Abbott Vascular doing these moves. But also, when it comes to who they acquire, then these are all commercial companies, meaning they are already on the stock market, like Abiomed or Shockwave, or they are already in commercial, where they have these companies having a commercial traction. What brings us to a point where startup companies in these days in the cardiovascular space need a lot of money, because they need to go from all their preclinical work through the clinical work and to a regulatory approval. If it's the EMA or FDA approval, I will come to that later. So meaning that they need a lot of cash, yeah, a lot of more cash. And that brings us to the situation where we have another backlog, is that VCs are focusing on fewer technologies. That brings us to a strategy question. Nowadays, and that changed a lot, is in particular with the liberalization of the FDA and the MDR, so I mean an American pathway or an European pathway, that these companies need to think early about their strategy. They need to think early, what is my quickest way to a commercialization? Is it an American pathway, or is it a European pathway, or is it both? So what I stated here is what you very often hear from investors, but also from panels, is going to the US, treat American patients first, in particular investors or also large corporations saying that, yeah, we want to see American patients. Remember back to the slides, Laminar company, which I stated here, which got acquired last year by Johnson & Johnson. They treated all their patients, 40 patients before acquisitions in Europe. Also, in some cases, in particular when you're a fast follower device and you have a reimbursement landscape, it's much, much easier to go for an MDR. Because you don't have to randomize, you don't have to do an early feasibility trial, you don't have to do a large pivotal trial where you compare your product in a trial against another device. You have to do a single-arm trial, and you can be very, very quick in a commercial situation. Vice versa, when you have a new technology, it's maybe easier to go to the US. While you have a breakthrough designation, you have immediate reimbursement in the entire country, which is the same population as Europe, and you have a much quicker access through this pathway with the FDA breakthrough designation. So you really need to think before you're touching the first patient, what will be your strategy? Also, before you fundraise, you need to think, what is the quickest way and the smoothest way and the cheapest way to reach a commercialization and a potential point where you got acquired. And that's something which investors in these days, at least out of our experience, are trying to figure out of these companies if they have this knowledge. So devices in Europe reimbursed and devices in the US reimbursed is a big thing. In these days also, as I said, commercialization is a key part because, again, these corporations want to see a kind of market penetration before they want to acquire you. Meaning, in the US, we have a very simple situation. When you have this breakthrough technology, it's a very easy and very quick way to get reimbursement. When you are a fast follower, you need to do a CMS supply, and so on, so on. It will take some years after your FDA approval. When you go to Europe, we have a landscape of a lot of multiple countries, and each country has a different pathway for reimbursement. So another difficulties. But again, as when you're a fast follower with existing reimbursement in all countries, it could be very easy just to jump in with the CE mark. So the black and white has some colors, as I want to state. It's not black and white, and it's not like investors are saying or potential acquirers are saying. It's a colorful picture, and it's a very individual case. Each case by case need to be looked different. So thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you have questions.